So they said that or co-conspirator number 4 is I'm the one that provided the location to
Lil Durk, yeah.
Everyone's talking about the Rat and Lil Durk's Only the Family crew, but here's the crazy part. What if I told you that Rat is OT's top hitman? Yeah, that's right. In this video, I'm going to break it all down for you, showing how OT's top assassin ended up snitching on his own boss, Lil Durk. But before we get into the betrayal, let's first talk about how he played both sides while setting up Quando Rondo for an execution. We all know loyalty and trust are what make any crew strong, and Lil Durk's Only the Family crew is no different. Durk had to make sure every single person around him could be trusted because in the streets, your family is everything. And every big name needs a trusted sidekick. That's where Brick Baby comes in. He's Durk's right-hand man on the streets, and rumors say he's actually OT's top hitman. Brick Baby's reputation goes way back. His history in the streets is deep, and he's had his share of run-ins with the law. Some even say he's Durk's evil right-hand man, and this isn't just talk. There's even a documentary about him on Swamp Stories. But here's the kicker: after Durk was arrested by the feds over a murder-for-hire plot aimed at Quando Rondo, the rumors really started to spread. Word on the street was that someone gave up Quando's location to Durk. And when the feds unsealed the indictment against Durk, it confirmed those rumors were true. The indictment revealed that someone in Durk's camp leaked Quando's whereabouts. So now the big question is, who set up Quando Rondo? According to the indictment, co-conspirator 4 found out that Quando was in California. On August 18, 2022, the feds reported that someone learned Quando was staying at a hotel in Los Angeles. That's when everything started to come together. But who exactly gave up that location? Who's the one that snitched? Now let's take a look at what happened that day. The feds say the hit squad used 2 cars, one of which didn't even have a license plate. The whole thing was messy, and it's starting to look like the streets knew what was going on all along. So the next question is, who can you really trust when the betrayal comes from your own crew? Stay tuned, because the story gets even crazier from here. Things took a serious turn when the hit squad used a registered license plate to track and stalk TB, planning to kill him at a gas station in Los Angeles. They opened fire, shooting at least 18 rounds into TB's vehicle. Sadly, some of those shots hit and killed him. After the attack, prosecutors say the killers met up at a restaurant to settle payment for the job. But here's the big mistake they made: they allegedly used an OTF-linked credit card to book flights to Chicago. That was a slip-up the feds didn't miss. They set a puzzle for everyone to solve: who was co-conspirator 4, who gave up the location. It didn't take long for the streets to connect the dots. The name that kept coming up was Brick Baby. Now, if you didn't know, Brick Baby and Quando Rondo had managed to stay close friends despite the drama between OTF and Quando's camp. The relationship between them was tight, and it didn't go unnoticed. DJ Vlad even confronted Brick Baby about the rumors in an interview, straight up asking if he was the one who gave up Quando's location. Brick Baby denied it completely, saying, "If I were co-conspirator 4, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you about it." During the interview, Brick Baby had to deal with all the rumors that linked him to the charges against Lil Durk and his crew, who were arrested in connection with a murder-for-hire plot that led to the death of Quando Rondo's cousin. The streets quickly pointed to Brick Baby as the one who leaked Quando's location, but he wasn't having it. He denied everything, saying if he were truly involved, he wouldn't have the freedom to speak openly about it. Brick Baby also made it clear that his friendship with Quando was separate from the whole street beef between the crews. He maintained that despite the tension, he kept the friendship without giving up any sensitive info. So, is Brick Baby really the rat the streets think he is? Or is he just another victim of rumors? Stay tuned, because this drama is far from over. When all this went down, me and Quando Rondo had already talked a few times about 3 or 4. And here's something I've never said before, but Quando and I decided to let their beef be their beef, and we'd keep our relationship separate. Now, Brick Baby has been questioned about being involved, with many people labeling him as a conspirator. He's downplaying any involvement and claiming innocence, but here's the big question: why did the entire internet immediately point to Brick Baby as the snitch? When the attack happened, some folks started to think that Brick Baby might have used his friendship with Quando Rondo to give Lil Durk sensitive information about Quando's whereabouts. In an interview, Brick Baby argued that with the beef between their crews, it didn't make sense for Quando Rondo to trust him with his location when he was in LA. So, why did people jump to the conclusion that Brick Baby was co-conspirator 4? Well, after the attack on Quando's team in LA, Quando Rondo shocked everyone by announcing he was no longer part of the Rollin 60s gang. The street started buzzing, thinking that the mysterious co-conspirator had to be a 60s member, and Quando leaving the gang might have been a result of betrayal. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Brick Baby is a known member of the Rollin 60s, so it didn't take long for people to connect the dots and start pointing fingers. Some people even say that Brick Baby is almost snitching on himself every time he speaks about the case. For example, when DJ Vlad asked him about the rumors that Quando left the Rollin 60s because he was backdoored by someone in the gang, Brick Baby's answer was a bit strange. He said it makes sense what the world is saying, but why all didn't crack the code this time? That response only raised more questions. So, is Brick Baby really involved or just caught up in rumors? We'll have to wait and see. But one thing's for sure, the situation with Brick Baby, Lil Durk, and Quando Rondo is still unfolding, and it's going to be an interesting ride. The fans haven't cracked the code yet, but stay tuned because the truth is still out there. The streets are buzzing with theories, and fans have been quick to call out Brick Baby. One user came straight for him in the comments, saying, "We see right through you, Brick Boy," and honestly, it got a laugh. But it didn't stop there. Another person went as far as to say the whole interview was just to help pay for Brick Baby's lawyer fees. The comment section quickly filled with people convinced that Brick Baby is in fact co-conspirator for, and that he set up Quando Rondo. Many now think Brick Baby, OTF's so-called top assassin, is nothing more than a snitch. Some even joke that he wears a hat with the letter S like it's some sort of badge of honor. The plot thickens though with more shocking developments. It's starting to look like there might be more rats in Lil Durk's crew than anyone thought. After Durk's arrest on federal charges linked to the murder-for-hire plot, rumors began swirling that a snitch had been informing on him. The same person who helped set up Quando Rondo might have also handed over information to the feds about Lil Durk. So while Brick Baby was allegedly playing his part in the setup, another snitch, possibly wearing a wire, was helping authorities build a case against the whole operation. Who could this mysterious snitch be? It's getting harder to trust anyone within Durk's circle. The saddest part of all this is the realization that betrayal rarely comes from an enemy, it comes from someone close, someone you trust. And that's the tragedy of this situation. Finding loyalty on the street is expensive, and sometimes it costs more than you expect. In a truly shocking turn of events, reports have emerged suggesting that one of Lil Durk's own OTF members may have played a role in his arrest. According to sources like the Express Tribune, this person, identified as OTF Jam, secretly worked with authorities for years, feeding them information about the plot to murder Quando Rondo. OTF Jam, who had been in prison until his release in 2022, allegedly wore a hidden wire to gather evidence that eventually led to Durk's federal charges. This revelation has left the industry in shock, as the idea of a trusted member betraying Durk and his crew is a betrayal no one saw coming. After serving 12 years in prison for attempted murder, OTF Jam reportedly became a key player in the shocking betrayal that linked Lil Durk to a murder-for-hire plot against Quando Rondo. The news of this betrayal broke when Terrell Bowman, also known as Cease, took to social media and revealed that an OTF member had been exposed for wearing a wire and secretly helping authorities. This information led to Durk's arrest, and it quickly turned heads in the hip-hop world. As soon as people heard the news, the questions started flying. How did Jam manage to wear a wire for years without getting caught? Some took a humorous approach, suggesting that he hid the wire in his big forehead. Others, more tech-savvy, pointed out that these days a wire doesn't look like it used to. A user explained that the authorities now use small, sensitive voice recorders that can fit right in your pocket, making it easier to gather information without anyone noticing. In fact, some even argued that your phone could be the new wire, suggesting that technology has made snitching easier than ever. The betrayal became a hot topic when music executive and rapper Wack 100 discussed it in a Vlad TV interview. Wack was shocked that Jam, after serving his sentence, was released and celebrated by OTF for his loyalty, only to flip and turn on them later. He mentioned how Jam had declared himself loyal, boasting about how he was given gifts and money and how there was no dirt on his name, but as Wack pointed out, things changed and Jam ended up wearing a wire to help authorities. In the interview, DJ Vlad added that Jam had served 12 years in prison for an attempted murder charge from 2010. When he was released in 2022, around the same time Lil Durk's name began to surface in connection with the plot, Jam allegedly started wearing a wire. This was reportedly how the authorities were able to gather the information that led to Durk's arrest. The whole situation left the hip-hop world reeling. How could someone so close to Lil Durk betray him like this? Wack 100's comments only made the betrayal feel more real, as it seemed like one of Durk's own had secretly turned on him. People couldn't believe that the trust and loyalty that were once key in the OTF camp had been shattered by someone who was supposed to be on the inside. This betrayal has raised serious questions about loyalty and trust in the street world. It serves as a harsh reminder that in a world where loyalty is everything, even those you trust the most can turn on you when you least expect it. The whole incident has had the hip-hop community buzzing, and it's clear that things won't be the same for Lil Durk and OTF after this shocking turn of events. Recently, OTF Jam sat down with DJ Jerry to talk about his relationship with Lil Durk. He opened up about how much Durk helped him during his time in prison. Jam mentioned that Durk's music was a big source of motivation for him, and that even before the fame and money, Durk was there for him. I remember Durk was making rap songs for our parties, Jam said. Even back then, Durk made sure Jam had everything he needed, including money for his lawyer and other things while he was locked up. That was bro, before the money, that was bro. He explained, talking about how deep their bond was before any of the legal troubles hit. But Jam didn't directly address the rumors about him possibly working with the FBI to take down Durk. Instead, he kept talking about how Durk had always supported him even when he didn't have anything. He confirmed that Durk gave him $50,000 to help him get back on track after his release from prison. Yeah, he gave me 50, you know what I'm saying? Fact Jam confirmed. Durk even mentioned this in his music, though Jam couldn't recall the exact song. Things took a shocking turn, though, when people started questioning OTF Jam's real intentions. After he was released from jail and welcomed back into OTF, rumors started spreading that Jam was wearing a wire, secretly helping the authorities gather information on Durk and his crew. The betrayal hit hard, especially since Jam had been so close to Durk for years. One person put it like this: to be betrayed by a childhood friend, someone you've always looked out for, and then find out they've been wearing a wire is crazy. It's always painful when betrayal comes from someone you trust. This situation feels like a plot twist straight out of a movie. In action movies, the villain is often someone the hero has always been at odds with, so when the villain betrays the hero, it doesn't shock anyone. But when the person who betrays you is someone you've been through everything with, someone you trust deeply, it hits way harder. And for Durk, finding out that a close friend from his circle was secretly working against him must feel like an even bigger punch in the gut. It's one thing to be betrayed by an enemy, it's another thing entirely when it comes from someone you've always called family. Let's break it down. A user recently shared a deep look into OTF Jam's betrayal, and it's making waves. Imagine this Jam has been locked up for 12 years, and through it all, Lil Durk has been there helping him out, treating him like family. He's been feeding him, sending money, and showing real loyalty. After 12 years in prison, Jam finally gets out, and for the first time, he's living a life he only dreamed of behind bars. But then, boom, he gets caught with a gun. It's not just any gun, but a serious charge because he's a convicted felon, and that could land him extra years behind bars. Now, that's tough for anyone, but especially for someone who's just tasted the good life after all that time. For a regular person, this would be a huge blow. Imagine going back to prison after you've just gotten a taste of freedom. It's brutal. But for Jam, who was just starting to live the dream after a decade behind bars, it has to feel even worse. The user adds that life on the streets is cold. If he thought snitching would help protect him, he might be realizing it's costing him more than he expected. The feds won't keep his family safe. He doesn't have a Durk to hand him $50,000 to fix things. If he thought betraying Durk would protect him, he's probably learning the hard way that loyalty can't be bought or replaced. When the news broke about Lil Durk's betrayal, everyone was shocked. People started asking what OTF really stands for. We know it means only the family, but it's deeper than just an acronym. OTF isn't just about blood relations, it's about a group of people who've been through the struggle together. Durk built OTF on trust and loyalty. It's a brotherhood born from shared experiences in the streets. The whole idea of OTF is that family comes first. When one of their own betrays that bond, it hurts more than anything because it's not just a business or group, it's a family. For OTF Jam to flip like that, it's more than just a betrayal of Lil Durk. It's a betrayal of everything OTF stands for. This wasn't just a business relationship, it was built on trust, and when that trust is broken, it shakes everything. The betrayal stings even harder because OTF members are supposed to be family, not just associates, and for Durk, someone who built everything on loyalty, this kind of betrayal cuts deep. It's a reminder that in the streets, trust is everything, but so is knowing who's really got your back. Let's talk about the whole situation with OTF Jam and Lil Durk. You see, when Jam got out of prison, Lil Durk never doubted him. Durk believed Jam when he said he was straight, and he trusted him after all. Durk had helped him for years. It's why Durk felt so strongly about having King Von's back, and why looking out for each other is the heart of OTF, only the family. But then, something unexpected happened. OTF Jam allegedly betrayed Durk. So what went wrong? Here's the story. OTF Jam was convicted of a shooting in 2010 and served 12 years in prison. He got out in February 2022, but just over a year later, in May 2023, he got arrested again. While the charges haven't been fully revealed, it's easy to think that Jam may have cooperated with the authorities to avoid a longer sentence. If that's the case, the question becomes, did prison break him? We all know that prison changes people, but OTF was supposed to be built on loyalty. Was Jam's loyalty that easy to break? Rumors started flying fast about why Jam might have betrayed Durk. Some people say it goes deeper than just avoiding prison time. Word on the street is that Lil Durk found out Jam was wearing a wire and in retaliation ordered the murder of Jam's baby mama. It's also rumored that Durk might have had someone killed to get back at the person who took his brother D-Thang's life. Poetic Flacco, a social media figure, claimed that the feds believe Durk paid for these killings, and they're now looking at OTF Jam as the key to putting Durk behind bars for all of it. But, of course, no one has solid proof of these rumors. Then, just when you think the story can't get crazier, a video pops up of Jam casually eating McDonald's in what seems to be an interrogation room. The internet went wild, with people joking that Jam was snitching on Durk while enjoying his fast food. DJ Academic stirred the pot even more by posting the image and asking his followers to caption it, and just like that, the trolls took over, making light of a situation that's already full of drama and betrayal. In the end, it's all about trust. OTF was built on that trust family over everything, but now, with these rumors swirling and Jam's alleged betrayal, the big question is, who can you really trust? That's the mystery that's got everyone talking, and no one knows how it's all going to play out. The drama surrounding OTF Jam and Lil Durk has taken a shocking turn, and social media is buzzing with wild theories and reactions. One commenter joked, "Bro snitched on Durk for a Big Mac and fries," while another person added, "You're probably wondering how I got here," playing off how crazy this whole situation has gotten. Meanwhile, as OTF Jam was allegedly cooperating with the feds, Lil Durk was arrested, marking a big and possibly devastating moment in his career. Here's the breakdown. Federal agents recently arrested 5 people in connection to a shooting in Los Angeles in August 2022, which led to the death of Quando Rondo's cousin. These men are facing serious charges of conspiracy to commit murder for hire, allegedly as revenge for King Von's tragic death. The feds have been investigating for a while, and they seem to have found a link that ties Lil Durk to this murder for hire plot. It all ties back to the 2020 shooting at the Monaco Hookah Lounge in Atlanta, where King Von was killed. The thing is, the feds probably didn't need someone to tell them that if King Von's death was involved, Lil Durk was likely behind the retaliation, but they needed someone to connect the dots with real evidence, and it looks like OTF Jam might have been that person. As a close associate of Durk, Jam likely had tons of information the feds could use. His wiretap and cooperation with the feds made it possible for them to gather everything they needed. That's why it's no surprise that Durk's facing federal charges now. As soon as the feds had their evidence, Lil Durk was arrested, and it's been a major blow to his career. DJ Academics was one of the first to share the news, tweeting that Durk had been arrested by U.S. Marshals. Durk is currently being held in Broward County Jail in Florida, awaiting extradition to California to face charges related to the murder for hire case. This whole situation is connected to the shooting that killed Quando Rondo's cousin, and the 5 men involved, Cav London, Grant Dontrell Wilson, Keith Jones, and Asa Houston, are facing charges as well. Even though Durk wasn't mentioned in the initial lawsuit filed against the group, his arrest shows that the feds are now connecting him to these charges. Lil Durk founded his label, Only the Family OTF, in 2010, and while he's always said it's not a gang, recent events are making it harder to separate his brand from any illegal activities. This is a huge turning point in Durk's career, and it's still unclear how things will play out. His mugshot has already been released, and fans are anxiously waiting to see what happens next as Durk faces these serious charges. Stay tuned, this story is far from over. The case surrounding the murder of Lil Pab is taking a shocking turn, with new details painting a picture of a deeply calculated plan. Here's what's unfolding. Prosecutors have charged several individuals with conspiracy to commit murder for hire, carrying out a murder for hire, and using a machine gun in a violent crime that resulted in death. These charges are tied to what they claim was an organized plot involving members of OTF Only the Family, allegedly targeting Quando Rondo, but instead of him, his cousin, Lil Pab, became the victim. Here's where it gets even more interesting. It's alleged that members of OTF used a credit card linked to their record label to book flights from Chicago to California after learning Quando Rondo's location. 5 men named in the indictment are accused of carrying out the deadly shooting, supposedly as part of a broader retaliation plan. According to prosecutors, this act was linked to the tragic death of rapper King Von in 2020, a close friend of Lil Durk. But it doesn't stop there. Prosecutors are making bold claims about Lil Durk and his label OTF. They argue that OTF is more than just a music group, it's allegedly a criminal operation disguised as a record label. They say that under Lil Durk's leadership, referred to as Banks and Court documents, OTF has been involved in serious crimes. One of the most significant allegations? The 2022 attempted murder of Quando Rondo, which they believe was planned as revenge for King Von's death. This case isn't just about one incident, it's about connecting the dots in a much bigger story of violence and revenge in the music world. The allegations against OTF are heavy, and all eyes are on what comes next. The 2022 shooting that took the life of Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pab, has brought shocking accusations to light. Prosecutors are now saying that Lil Durk himself ordered the attack, claiming it was revenge for the 2020 shooting in Atlanta, where King Von, one of Durk's closest friends, was killed by someone tied to Quando Rondo. The feud between the two camps ran deep, with King Von, whose real name was Devon Bennett, being both a beloved member of OTF Only the Family and a rising star in the rap world. But the drama didn't stop there. Authorities say Lil Durk tried to flee the country before his arrest. After 5 OTF members were taken into custody for their alleged roles in the shooting, prosecutors found out that Durk had booked flights to Dubai and Switzerland. He never got on those flights though. Instead, the FBI got wind of a private jet he had arranged to take him to Italy. Just as he was about to leave, agents swooped in and arrested him. This year has been a wild ride for Lil Durk. At the start of 2024, he was celebrated and even awarded the key to the village of Broadview, Illinois for his contributions. But now, that honor has been taken away. The village also ended its partnership with Durk's charity, the Neighborhood Heroes Foundation. The mayor made it clear while the legal system presumes innocence until proven guilty, the court of public opinion in Broadview expects higher moral standards from its role models. The fallout from this case shows just how fast everything can fall apart. Gang life might look glamorous at first, but the reality is much darker. Your name gets dragged through the mud, friends and partners cut ties, and you either end up in prison or worse. For King Von, the price was his life, leaving a legacy of heartbreak and loss. It's hard not to look back and wonder if any of this was worth it. Was a fight over pride and power worth the lives lost and futures destroyed? These tragedies are a brutal reminder of the cost of living in a world ruled by ego and violence. Was the fight worth King Von's life and the downfall of Lil Durk's career? This story feels like a massive fall from grace, and it raises a tough question: who's really to blame? The truth is simple: you can't be two things at once. You're either a rapper or a gangster. If you try to live both lives like Lil Durk allegedly did, you risk losing everything. Sooner or later, you'll end up behind bars watching everything you built fall apart. Right now, word on the street is that the feds are building a case so strong it could bring down OTF completely, not just as a crew, but as a music label. And this isn't just about Lil Durk, it's a lesson for everyone. The choices you make, the people you surround yourself with, and the life you live today will decide your future. For Lil Durk, those choices have led to this moment, a dramatic turn that could cost him his freedom and his legacy. At the start of the year, Lil Durk was on top of the world with a thriving career and major recognition, but now he's facing charges that could put him behind bars for life. FBI Assistant Director Akil Davis said it best: while you're out there thinking you got away with something, the FBI is quietly putting the pieces together to take you down. If Lil Durk and the 5 OTF members charged in the case are convicted, they could all be sentenced to life in prison. That raises a tough question: what happens to OTF if its leader and top members are locked away? The crew would lose its foundation, and the name Only the Family might not mean much anymore. Even if Lil Durk somehow avoids a life sentence and gets out someday, what would he come back to? His closest allies would still be in jail, and the trust within his circle would be broken by informants. Would the music still sell, or would fans have already moved on, leaving the empire he worked so hard to build in ruins? This story is a harsh reminder for anyone caught between two worlds. You can't have it all. Trying to live as both a rapper and a gangster might seem thrilling, but in the end, it costs too much. Careers are destroyed, families are torn apart, and lives are lost. The question isn't just whether the fight was worth it, it's whether it was ever necessary at all.